Hello everyone, welcome to the God Stack. I'm back after some vacations that it took place for me, and now I'm back and let's keep going working. And how are you, Bruno? How was your week?
Guys, uh, I'm fine. Uh, it's just Tuesday, but the week is fine. All all went good so far. So so far so good.
So far, so good. That's really nice. Uh, I don't know if my audio is working right now. Uh, I believe that my audio was not working, just my microphone. I think that your voice was not being passed through the streaming. So, uh, a quick introduction again. Welcome to the God Stack. Welcome to the live. We didn't have lives in the last week because I was on vacations, and now I'm back. And let's keep working with that. Okay. So, a little bit of the code, and let me just remember what we were doing in the last session. I don't know if you remember. Okay, it's validation. So we were working with the form validations, creating new atoms for our application. So we've got this wrapper 2 tip, and we just improved a little bit the input, doing something that's required or not. Actually, we deleted the require. Yeah, we deleted it. Um, and then the div, we added the dangerous set in HTML. Okay, so new atoms. We have 2 chips now. Let's just run this code and just check it out. What what is going on here? Just 1 week without coding, and I'm just I'm already a little bit lost. Let me just do that. So my um, I don't know if you are following the Eurocup. So Germany lost for French. Portugal won in the 5 last minutes. That was incredible. So let's do that. spa.tgs dot local dot 1 week without coding, and I'm already forgetting everything. Local.tgs.com. There you go. Nice. So we have the logging, we have signing, and if I don't remember, sign up as well. Do you remember the routes? We moved all the routes, isn't it? So we have in the components the routes. Yeah, it's a sign up. What's wrong?
Honestly, I think I
Yeah,
don't remember
yeah,
much about
yeah. And
what
now we
we were
have
doing.
the icon to do the is required or not, and well, I believe that we should improve that a little bit, because this is really uh, not nice in that way. So what we can do, actually, we could add some icon. So if we want to use some icons, um, well, but actually I want to add the icon right next to the input instead of doing that. Let me see how's the code right now. Well, let's start committing everything that we've done in the last section. Rapaziada do SAP. Rapaziada do SAP. I don't know who is Rapaziada do SAP, but welcome to the God Stack, bicho chama. So, let's just commit these, what I've done here. This is just a space, okay. So, yup, okay, so let's just, we'll add yup as a front end dependency. Again, this is one of the things I like to do when I'm developing. When I will do my commits, I always start with will, because it helps me to remember that I need to use a verb, to start with a verb. Okay, so for example, this div, will add dangerous HTML as a div prop. So every time I start with a will, it will help me to remember that I need to use a verb, to start my commits with verbs, and this is gonna be really helpful for you doing all your commits. Okay. So input will remove required from input. Are you saying something, Bruno? Because I'm not hearing you.
No,
No. Okay. You're so
not
silent.
now.
Yeah, you're so silent that I was. What?
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
because looks like what you are doing. It
I'm just
was
committing. Yeah.
just the commit.
Yeah.
We forgot to do that
This
in the last live.
is labeled input. We added error messages. So we'll add error messages to labeled input. Okay, what's this doing? It's error messages as well, but this time in the form. So we'll add error messages on sign up form. Nice. Sign up page. What we've done here, error messages and data validation. We'll add error messages and data validation on sign up page. There we go. And we'll add
While you do that, I'm gonna check who is in my front door. Just a second.
okay. Sign up page, and then the last one, we'll add 2 tips on Atom. How's the name of that? It's Atom. It's the measures. Hello, Windward Hive. Welcome to the God Stack. Welcome. We'll add 2 tips, 2 atoms. Okay, can be, but there is a name for that. I just forget about this. It's not concatenate. It's grouper. It's okay. Let's just do atoms. And now let's send it all to the repository, and we are safe. Actually, I've been with this code for 2 weeks now, so this is not safe. When you, well, need to go to vacation, commit everything, because something can go really bad on your vacation. So commit everything that you have. If it's good code, if it's bad code, just commit it so anyone can get the code from where you are and keep doing the tasks. So don't forget to commit the things when you are working on it. Okay. So what I really want to do today, it's actually not working anymore in the SPA. I want to go back to the API because there's something. Well, right now we can actually add users. The structure is not, the style is not that good. We just added as a joke this sheet icon that shows when something is not valid on our form. We could actually add the sheet right in the right instead of in the bottom of the input. So we could improve that a lot. We could put some color in the background, make it a little bit round, a little bit smaller, or make this name goes up. Just like there's a lot of things that we can do, but I feel that there is something in the API that we want to do that's gonna be cool as hell, and I want
I'm
to
back.
show you. Yeah. Welcome to the code stack, Bruno. Well, I was talking to you then that today I really want to do something, and it's not in the SPA. It's in the API. Okay. Well, when we worked with when we worked with the API, I said I told everyone that when you are working with the interfaces, when you create a API, it's important to have different interfaces to handle different types of well, it's different handlers in your API. Right now, we just have the HTTP, okay? And what I want to do today with you guys, it's to create another interface here called workers, okay? It's gonna be the workers workers interface. So actually the workers is not exactly an interface, okay? And there is a lot of things that we should talk about it. But the workers is actually a handler. It's something that runs in the background and do some kind of job for you, okay? And this job is what I want to do. What I want to do is when I create a user, so when my system creates a user, I want this user to receive an email. Okay, so this user will receive an email, and in this email, it should have a link to validate this user. Okay, because right now, if we go to Insomnia and check for the user, okay, so if we create any kind of user, let's refresh that. No, not this one actually. There we go. So if we create a user, let me try to create it. Yes, its mail should be unique. Okay, so let's just put this here, nice. And then if I create this user, and if I log in with this user, so let's just log in with this user in my system. There we go. So if I get this, so this is the token, okay? If I just checks for the token, then you can just go to JWT, and then if you just checks for the token, you're gonna see that the is valid is false, okay? So in order to make a user valid, the user should access an email with a with a link, and when you click on that link, it will send it to a page. This page will call the backend, and the backend will validate the user. Okay, we already have this option here. It's the validate user. Okay, so the backend is already prepared to receive a token and validates the user, but we are not sending any emails right now. We do that manually. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to receive this email. Okay, so where are we going to do that? So how are we going to do that actually? So let's thinking about the engineering. Okay, so before we start just coding and coding, one of the things that's really important when we are software developing is thinking about what we are doing. So, what's the problem that most systems have when they try to send an email? The problem is, if you are trying to send an email, you are depending on an external API. Okay, we are going to use SendGrid. There's a lot of different APIs to do that. You don't need to use SendGrid. You could actually use any kind of API to do that. I will just use because it's the one I'm most used to work with. So just because of that. But if you are working seriously with a company, you should actually check at least 4 different emails APIs and get the difference between them, its price, if it's fast or not, if it has a repositories for the language you're using. For example, I'm using JavaScript, so you should have some kind of repository to that. So you should make any study first, and then you should choose anyone. Again, I'm just going to use SendGrid because it's the one I'm used to. I know how to do that even faster, so I'm just going to use that. Okay. But there is a problem. Every single API that you're going to use to connect, that it's not your API, it's something outside, it's going to take a while. Okay, and sending an email takes a lot of time. Well, when I'm saying a lot of time, I'm talking about a lot of time in terms of computer time. Okay, so it's going to be like 5-6 seconds. Okay, so I don't want to make any query that I have, any SQL that I have in my API to take all these 6 seconds. Okay, again, I want always to keep the most 500 milliseconds, so half of a second. This is where we should always leave. Half of a second is like when you get to half of a second, it's because you are doing really lot of things, and we should try to not get in this point, or at least the most half of a second for every request you do to the backend. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Because when I create a user, so what are we gonna think about that? So we had the mutation, and now we have the create use here. Okay, so we have a create user mutation that it's actually creating the user. Okay, but what are we gonna do? If we have to send an email? Okay, well, actually what we would do, we would do something just like kind of that. So we could do that new user. Okay, there you go. So if new user, okay, if new user, we are going to return the new user. Okay, and of course we're going to send email to new user, something like that. And if this is somehow some problems, of course the problem would catch before that, but just to make sure, we will just return false, and it would be something like that. Okay, what's the problem? What's the problem here? What's the problem with that approach? If you send an email, and actually you should wait for the sending email, because it's going to send an email, and then if it fails, you need to try it again, and there is a lot of things that you should do here. That, for example, you try to, sometimes it happens, you try to send an email through the API, the API just send you back some kind of random error that you don't know what's going on, and then you need to treat this error, try to send the email again because the user didn't receive the email and wants to make an issue. So this 6 seconds that I'm talking about can get to 11 seconds, 15 seconds, a minute, you know, just because it's waiting and trying again and doing all that. So you don't want your user that's just trying to create a user to be waiting for that, okay? Because follow me in this thought. I'm here in this screen, and then I fill all these fields and I create sign up. Okay, if I do that properly, this is gonna lead me to the sign-in page, and then I will just put my user and password that I just created, and I'm going to log in, and then this login is gonna send me to the home page, for example. Through all this process, that user is clicking, it's logging in, it's just looking around the first screen, it passes a moment. So what I'm trying to explain is, you don't need to wait for the email. You can make this email be sent not by your actual HTTPS interface, but you could make anything else do that for you. Okay, and this anything else, it's the worker. Okay, so what's gonna happen? We are going to get the user. We are just going to create the user just like we do. Okay, just the regular way to create a user, but actually we are going to add a we are going to add these well, we want to send an email, so we want to add this information somewhere at some place. Okay, so in what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the Postgres to do that for me. Okay, it's not the proper way to do that. Okay, I'm just going to use it. I'm just going to use the Postgres because I don't want to make it really complicated. But in a real world, what most of the people do, they are going to add these I need to send an email in a queue, and there is different softwares that handles queues. For example, you have RabbitMQ, you have Apache Kafka, you have a lot of different softwares right in the market to solve that problem for you. But I'm going to do that using the database, and of course it will be possible to use the same way I'm going to do to the using the Postgres. You could use a RabbitMQ, a Apache Kafka, or whatever, and then I will have the data in the database. So I believe that the first thing that we need to do, that I think that we're ready then, is the queue, exactly. So what this is the table that we already created in the previous sessions, and this is a table that is just there to hold all the emails that needed to be sent. Okay, so that is, it's a table, it have an ID. This ID is gonna be, of course, an UUID. It holds the user ID, the type of email I want to send. In this case, I just have approval token, but I could have much more types of different emails. Okay, and then this is just the usual data that we need inside every table that we have if we want to do some audition in our data. Okay, so it's just that, the user ID and the type of the email that we want to send. Okay, so if I check the beaver, I'm just even forget the name of the softwares to just 1 week of vacations and that happens. Okay, so let's just open here and let's just check that table. It is this table. There we go. It's a really simple table, just user ID and type, nothing else. So every time I create a user, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the user ID and I'm going to put the user ID in this table with the approval token. Okay, so if I need the user ID, in order to do that, when I do the merge user, I will have the create user. Let's go to that function. So when I create a user, I believe that I have the ID of the user right here. Right? Yes, it's the user that was created. So because I said just return the ID, so insert and return the ID. So it's just going to return the ID. So I just need to do that. So instead of doing that, what I actually need to do is to, there we go. So I'm just going to do a return here. Okay, this is going to return, and this is exactly the moment that I'm not going to send the email, but instead of that, I'm going to add the user ID in the queue table. Okay, so let's just create something like add user to email. I've always forget how to write QKQ. I believe it's that. Something's missing here.
You think that is the
Q. Yes. It's an E. Another E. So there you go. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to get these, and then I'm going to pass these, and then of course I need to pass the context to this guy, and the type of the queue, it's approval token. Okay, and it's gonna be simple as that. Bruno, you were saying?
you think that is the best place to queue something? Why we are doing site infrastructure that? Because let's pretend that I want to create a user in another place of my application, another, I don't know, from somewhere else, like another mutation.
Yeah, this is the reason
And
I've created this function. This function will be inside the infrastructure, and anyone can use it.
yeah,
It's
sure,
not gonna be
but
here. It's gonna be in the infrastructure.
Yeah, sure, but let's pretend that we don't want to send an email in that scenario. Okay, it's an approach, but when we are in the function that says that is the name of the function is create user.
Yeah.
Why should we send q something in the database? It's just a suggestion,
Yeah.
right?
So how would you do that?
Maybe we should put place that in the mutation. What do you think? Wouldn't be better?
Um, you mean here? Well, actually do what I've done before, like const new
Yes, because
new
the creation
user.
of the user,
Wait, this. Yeah,
yeah,
new
something like that.
new user, and then I would transfer.
Because the mutation will never be the same, but when we are trying to create another user in another kind of scenario, uh, let's say that we are in a checkout page and when we don't and we are like in a mutation that is create checkout, okay?
Yeah,
And but the provided email it's not in the database, so we need to create another user with the provided user data that is, and we can create a user with a random password, and the user can change the password after
yeah,
he is already
yeah,
and and
but
and
one thing, one
okay,
uh, one thing at a time.
okay,
We are just thinking about. I need to create a user and send an email to this user with the
okay,
token. This is the what we need to do right now. This is what in front of us. Okay.
okay,
So in this new user, I will have the new user.id. Okay. Because
yes.
this is going to uh,
Actually, I was just justifying why I suggest that.
yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, we could you in the moment we could uh, add this in the infrastructure.
well, not exactly in the moment. This is something that we should decide. For example, is sending an email something that should always happen when I create a user? If
Okay,
yes, so if always use, and uh, and then we can add it here. We can add it here. There is no problem adding the add users to mail queue right here, because it's something that's it needs to happen every time I create a user. It's something that's necessarily should happen. Okay, we can add it in
okay,
here as well, no problem at all. So I can do that, add user to email queue. There you go. And then of course I need to pass the context, I need to pass the new uh, user ID, and then I need to check it if not new user.id, so I should return new. Okay, and then this I need to add new user.id and then approval token. Oh, approval token. There you go. So this is gonna be a generic. So every time I want to add the user to the queue, I'm going to use this function. What do you think about that?
Nice. Okay.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Does this please you?
And yeah, 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 I think it's better because if we add something that is not related what the function should do, maybe we can have some problems in the future.
Yeah.
Because in my point of view, the create user function and the create user file inside of infrastructure, the main
Single responsibility.
responsibility, yeah, the single responsibility of him is just create the user.
Yeah.
That's why I suggest that.
Yeah. But actually, the merge user it's breaking the single responsibility. Well,
Yes, I
yes,
agree.
yeah, yes,
I
and no. Actually, yes and no, because uh, merge user, it's something that's going to merge the user. So it's going to create, delete, and do whatever is necessary with the user. Actually, the name. Uh,
yes,
but if
the
you
name
if
is
you yeah if you think like that, you would think like the single responsibility. If you think like that, you would think like an create user, update user, delete user, and
yes.
the reach user.
Actually, when I'm using GraphQL, I do that.
Yeah, but
I do that.
yeah,
But the merge word
but yeah,
actually
but my question
recently
is, why do you do that?
I do that because I think it's better to understand, better
Mm,
to control. It's just a preference.
mm-hmm. How do you decided that it's better to understand, and how did you get in that? How did you get that in your mind?
Uh, because when when I was doing that, my project was growing, and sometimes I had side effects. Of course, it's hard to explain now
Yeah.
what was the side effects, but because it's something that I was having at the moment. But uh, sometimes we have a lot of things going on inside one function that was doing everything for me, and inside of the functions, we had another things going on that call infrastructures of another schemas, and just like add users to email queue. And when my project was growing, I we can have some issues. So we have to be in my point of view, we have to be careful with that.
Yeah, absolutely. But there is some point that I would like to point it out. Most of the people when they are thinking about developing APIs and all that, they are still with the REST API mind. Okay. For example, one of the discussions that most of the people do about GraphQL is uh, GraphQL, when you call it the backend, it's always return a 200, you know? But then you
Yeah.
have that particularity from the GraphQL that you can send not just one QL to the backend. You can actually send two or three or four or any uh, amount of QLs that you want. So if two of them are good and two of them are bad, what kind of response are you going to do? 200 or 400? Because it's different. So in the GraphQL world, the things starts to be different. So if you get the same way you think in another type of software development, just like REST API, and brings it to GraphQL, it's not going to actually work. And there's a lot, for example, we talk about single responsibility. This is creating, updating, and deleting a user in 20 lines. So it's not that much, and this is not grow that much in order to create something that's gonna be really confusing for someone to read. I understand that there are a lot of people reading the clean code and all of that, but some of the things that people tend to forget is JavaScript is not object oriented. JavaScript is functional. So it's a different word. GraphQL, it's not REST API. We don't use put, get, post. Why don't we use get, for example? Why don't we use get? Because again, we are not just getting something in the backend when we are using GraphQL. When we are using GraphQL, we are actually passing one or more orders to the backend, saying I need this and I need this with that and that. So it's completely different way to think about applications. And I believe that the thing that most of the people, the mistake that most of people do when they are working with GraphQL, it's bringing all the REST ideas, all the object-oriented ideas, and try to push all these ideas inside of the JavaScript. And then they say, hey, look at that, the JavaScript is horrible, this is horrible, that is horrible, and then I have to do all of that and I shouldn't do. Of course, because you're getting some ideas that it was not properly built for this kind of engineering, and you're bringing to here. I understand the clean code, I understand all the books that people are always talking about, but JavaScript is not object oriented, it's functional. So you should think as functions. And to be really through with everybody, I'm not actually using the full power of functional that JavaScript is enabling for us. One of the things that I'm trying to do is to stay as far away as I can be from TypeScript, because TypeScript is always forcing you to go to the object-oriented idea. And well, of course, I'm going to get there. I'm going to use TypeScript, but I'm going to use TypeScript in a different way. When I have my code's going to be all functional, and it will be all with the GraphQL thinking. And then I will try to do something with TypeScript and check if it's possible or not to use it here without all the object orientation forcing, or with all the REST API forcing. It's different, because if I want to REST in GraphQL, what I actually want is a better REST, not GraphQL. So if I'm going to GraphQL, I'm going to GraphQL. The same way, if I'm going to JavaScript and I want object orientation, don't go to JavaScript. If you want to object orientation, you keep in other languages that will allow you to do that. But JavaScript allows me to do things in object oriented. Yes, I know, and it's possible. Because there is a lot of communities and people try to do this, and there is a lot of people from object-oriented language coming to JavaScript, just like a lot of Java developers are coming from Java to develop things in JavaScript. So they are more comfortable doing things in the object-oriented way. So they have this mindset. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. It's not the point. It's just there is a mindset, and then you try to use your mindset to construct a API that is GraphQL and that is JavaScript. One of the things that make me fall in love for JavaScript and fall in love for GraphQL, it's because it's a completely different paradigm. It's a completely different way of thinking data. It's a completely way of thinking all the things that's in the internet right now. And with that mindset that you can change, you can see the world in a different way. Okay? But going back to what we are doing, we can actually do that here. So it's not that I'm trying to keep the single responsibility. Again, the merge user is already breaking it. But if some places we can keep the single responsibility, so let's do that. So I will follow with the Bruno's idea. That's a good one. Bruno always have good idea, but it's not that surprise. So I will use the function at user email to queue right here. And the thing is, I'm not going to use an await in here. I'm just going to add it. If it works or not, I'm just going to add it to the queue. Okay, I'm not going to wait or anything. And if any error happens, what I'm going to do, I will try to solve this problem in the add email queue without creating any influence in the speed of the answer when I create a user. Okay, Bruno?
Okay.
All right. So we need to create that this function. So it's just gonna be just like all the functions that we always have. So it's gonna be something like that, and it's going to receive a actually it's gonna be user ID and type. Okay, so this is gonna be what we are going to that's what the function it's gonna do. Okay, so what we need to do is just to insert it into the database, right? But when we insert something into the database, we're gonna need the user to the audit. Well, let's just do it. ctx and then database dot next, and we're going to get the what's the name of the table? There's the table. There we go. And then of course oh, it isn't going to return anything, so okay, so we're going to do the insert. Okay, again we need to pass an object. Okay, it's going to be user ID. How do user ID is this one, so it's going to be user ID, and this is going to be the user ID. Nice. And we need the type. It's just type. Nice. So I just pass type here, and I need to use the created by. Let me just get from create user. Created by user. This one. So I just need this line actually, and then I go here, and then nice, and then I can actually grab that from here, created by, because the system is the one that's going to add that, or not. Well, actually we can use the own user ID to do that, because it was the own user that created itself. And okay, I'm not going to use that. Nice. Really nice. So it's gonna be almost that. This is going to return true, but I'm not going to return anything, and I just want to do the catch. Okay, and then this is gonna be of course something like that, and then I got an error, and I need to create an error I do that here, isn't it? So this what I want. Okay, so I just want to create an error object and return no actually, and I just need to get. I just want to do that. It's not going to do anything. Actually, it's not going to break my request because I'm not awaiting for anything. So my request is gonna actually be resolved, and I'm just going to receive something here in the console if I have an error. Okay, because this is not going to be create user, this is gonna be this one. Okay, there was an error in the database, some kind of error that I will just logging into the. Okay, so I get that. Okay, there you go. Nice. And I believe now if I create a user, this user will be put in the email queue. What do you think about that, Bruno? Bruno? Just added the function here and just have the function here, and that's it.
Okay.
So let's
Looks good.
Yeah. So let's delete the database. There you go. Database is out. Then Docker. So the queen and Docker compose app. I believe that this one's going to create the database again. It's going to run all the migrations. Yes. Nice. Okay. Nice. So let's just refresh these. Okay, all the things are there. We don't have users anymore, just the system and migrations, and the queue it's empty. So I expect that when I create a user, let's create a user. I know. When I create a user, it's new. Wait, why it's new? Of course, because this is going to return a lot of users because I said that it's just the 0 one. But now it created the user, isn't it? Yeah, it did create the user. If I refresh that, there we go. So I'm just going to delete the user, save, there we go, and then I'm just going to add it again. Now we go, I received it. The user is here, and if we check the queue, there we go. So I've got the queue. Nice. And do the user have a approval token? Yes, it does have an approval token there. Nice. So first step, it's nice and completed. I'm already have my user. So every time I create a user, the user will be put in this this queue. Okay. Now,
Okay.
what I need to do, I need to create a worker. And what this worker is gonna do? This worker is gonna read the database. If it read the database, the queue table. If there is anything into the queue table, It's going to get the user, it's going to fetch for the user information, and then it's going to send an email to the email that it's in the user's information. What do you think about that?
Let's try.
Yes, let's try it. So, how are we going to do that? Let's just, because we're not going to work with that anymore, so workers, and then I'm just going to create a new file here called workers.js. Okay, and this worker file, what I want to do, let's create a variable called workers. Okay, this work is gonna be an object. Okay, and then I will have workers init. Okay, this worker init, it's gonna be a function. Okay, and then I could use something, some interval things when you need. Let me think about that. Okay, so let's just going to do interval. It's going to receive a set interval. Okay, and the set interval, it's a function and it's a number, like I believe it's milliseconds, so every second. Okay, let's just do the console log test. Okay, and then this interval is not defined. I know, I need to define that outside the context, so let's just do let interval. It's gonna be new, for example.
I'm not hearing you well.
And right now, is it better?
Your voice is
Yeah.
kind of breaking, frozen
Yeah.
for me.
I don't.
Maybe it's my internet connection. I don't know.
Yeah, it can be. Well, I believe that somebody in the chat is gonna say something about that. If they don't, maybe it's your internet connection. So I don't know if there's anyone in the chat that can say if my voice is nice right now. Well, if somebody in the chat can say if my voice is good for you, just let me know. Nice. So, what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to create another thing here. It's gonna be workers stop. Okay, this workers stop, it's going to be I'm just going to do the cleaning. Okay, so I can do the clear interval, and then I just passing the interval right here. Okay, this is just a test. Instead of using this, I could actually do that. Export cost workers. Nice. Okay, so I need to initialize the worker with my my process. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to come in here, and then I'm just going to import something from interfaces workers.js. Okay, then I just go to import the workers, and then of course I'm just going to do the workers.init, and when this do, I'm just going to do await workers.stop. There we go. Test, 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 test. Nice. Okay, but let's make it 10 seconds because, you know, test, test, test every time. It's gonna be not that good. Let's just check if it's going to work properly. Nice, it's working. So now what I can do is I can create a function to send the email for me. Okay, so I'm just going to do that here. So let's add it to work, and then let's call it send email to user, to new user. Better, new user. There you go. This is gonna be a function as well. Okay. And let's just console log right now. Sending emails. Okay. And then let's just call this inside of that. Actually, let's call it outside and now inside. Sending email to user, because every time I start the worker will already work in just the start, and then 10 seconds later, there you go, it's sending the email. Okay, so every 10 seconds, nice. But actually this should be we're gonna do that after, but this should actually, it's not good to create something fixed like that. It would be nice to be something, the environment variables, just like process something, but right now let's just use 5 seconds. All right, so it's gonna send an email, and then every 5 seconds gonna send an email again, and let's just do that. Okay, so now inside of this function, instead of doing the console log, I could actually create a function here to send email to new user. So send email to new user. Okay, and if I'm going to send it, I need the database. I need to connect to the database. So what we can stupid. I just have the shared, so I can get everything from the shared, and there we go. So let's do that. So import something from tutu, and then let's just do that again. So from shared and then index.js. Nice. So in here I will have the shared. Perfect. Nice. And in the shared, let's just comment this one. So that okay. So I can create a context, and this context should be the shared. Everything that shared has, and we need to get a user. The user that do all the worker stuff, it's the system user. So let's just create inside of that. Let's create another folder called infrastructure. Okay, because I'm just doing the same thing that I've got in the schemas. Okay, so if I have the users, and then I have applications for the logic, domain for the data, and infrastructure for all the things that it's going to call an API and do all of that. So I will do that here. So I'm just going to create a new infrastructure, and then I need something to get the system user, actually the system user ID. So get system user ID.js. There you go. And then the get system user ID, it should get the user and send it back to the worker. Okay, so let's import it. Import. I'm not going to do that right now. Yeah, I need to do that. So this is gonna be the. Okay, so let's create export. Okay, first comes get system user ID. This is a function. Okay, that return new. Right now it's just return okay. Right now it's just return new. So I'm just going to the worker and then import from what? From infrastructure dot get system user ID. There we go. And then I'm just going to do that. Nice. And then this is gonna be just like that. And I need to pass shared because the database is here, and then it's going to return the user ID. Okay. So the get system user ID, it's going to receive some kind of context, and it's going to do what we already are used to. So let's just create const SQL. It's going to be the context database dot next, and then the table, and the table is user SU, and then let's just do that, and then this is gonna be just like query select, and what's this is going to select the u.id as a ID. It's the same thing that we do for the same thing that we do in the infrastructure in the schemas. So here I'm going to end where, and of course, and where the u.username it's equal to I believe it's system. Yeah, there you go. Nice. So I do have the SQL, and then what I'm going to return. Okay, what I'm going to return is going to be ctx dot database dot nest. Okay, because I'm always use next nest, and of course then this is going to receive some data. Okay, so if I do have the data and I do have the because well, of course it's just going to be one system in my application, but I'm just checking for that. I'm just going to return directly the user. Okay, if not, I'm just going to return a new and catch. Okay, so if there's any kind of error, I will just do the same thing that we do with the just going to do that. I can actually copy this, because what I want to do actually, it's to, let's just get that, then add here. Nice. What are you complaining about? Inspect that token. Really? Why?
I think you are missing uh, an end in the line 12.
Select. This starts here and then here. This starts here and then here. This one should be closing this one.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Say.
Look in the line 12.
12, yes. It's one more.
I think you are missing an end in after we have the arrow function
Okay.
and data,
Yes.
and we should have yes.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. It's the eye of tiger. You have a really nice eyes. Okay. So this is gonna actually return all the system user, and what I want here is the user ID. There you go. So I believe that with that no, let me just check in the server when I get a user from talking. What do you have in the user? I have everything from the user. Okay, so it's not just the ID, it's actually everything. Okay, so now I do have the context. Okay, so I just recreated the context, but this is the context for the worker using the shared, and now it's the best place to, now to understand the hey, why are you reusing code and all that. This is the place. So now you can see that the same shared I'm using for the schema, I'm using for the workers as well. Okay, so this is actually beautiful. So this guy is going to receive that, and then this is going to send an email to new user. Okay, and now of course I need to create a function into the, that's going to be this one actually. So new file, send email to new user, and then there we go. So now I need to work with that. Export const send email to new user, and then this is going to receive a context. So let's just console log the context.user. Let's just see what's going on inside of that. Let's use the wait, what? Okay. Something is wrong here. I will just check that, no problem. But actually I need to do that. Nice. There you go. Okay. Okay, but I have an error here. Let's check what's going on. Users. Nice. Okay. It's a promise, so actually I need to await. So const user equal await this. Okay, but in order to use await, I need to do a async. There you go, and this is gonna be user. There you go. Ooh, beautiful. Now we have the user ID, the system user ID in the context. So everything that we have here, it's actually working. So we have the init, the stop, the send email, and then now I need to start to working with that. Okay, so what's gonna be the steps to send an email to a new user? Okay. So what should we do in order to do that? So I need to get the user. No, actually, let's just start to write that. So if I want to send an email to a new user, I need to fetch users in the queue, email queue table. Email queue, what's the name of the thing? Queue emails. Okay. So I need to fetch users in the queue email. Okay. If any, fetch, actually, let's do it. We're doing 5 seconds, so 5. We're going to get the 5 first. Okay. If any, send email to user. And of course we need to delete the user from the queue. Okay, nice. So this should be this, actually it's gonna be new folder. This is gonna be our executors. Actually, the send email to new user, it's actually an on executor. There you go. So now I need to get that. So let's create the functions to do that for us. Const email, emails in queue. Okay, emails in queue, and then I just need to await for get from what's the name of queue emails? Get from queue emails. Yeah, okay, can be get from queue emails, and then I need to pass the context. Nice. So this is gonna be an async, async. There we go. Nice. So now I need to create this guy, new file, get from email queue. Okay, and the get from email queue is gonna be export const get from email queue. It's gonna be something like that, and of course it's going to receive the context. Okay, and then I'm going to do context, actually the same thing that we are used to do. So context dot database dot next, and then we pass the table. We get from queue emails as queue emails, and we are going to select it. Let's just add this because I want my code to be a little bit beautiful. Okay, of course. And now I just need to pass what I want to. So I want the queue ID as ID, and then the queue QE. It's user something, user ID. Okay. So this is gonna be user ID as user ID. Okay, there you go. And where my q dot type it's equal my approval token. Okay, so I'm just getting the approval token. So get from Q emails. Yeah, it should be get approval token from get users. I'm just gonna keep that, but I'm just going to delete emails. So I'm just going to avoid. So I want the queue emails that are not the queue emails that are not that does not have a deleted at. Okay, because we are going to work with soft delete. Okay, and then let's just add a limit as we have the proposal of that as a 5, and then of course we are just going to return the same way that we always do. That base dot next, and this is gonna be the SQL, and I'm just going to do the then, and there we go. We're gonna have the then, and then we have get the catch. Okay. The catch, I'm going to do the same thing that I've done here. Let's just get everything. And then let's change a little bit. So instead of checking for the data 0, I'm just going to get the data. So actually I can do that data or new. I don't know if that gonna work, but okay. Well, then get Q from email, get Q from email. What's going on? Okay, because I didn't call that. So get from Q emails. This is gonna get there. What's that? Okay, Nodejs. Nice. So let's just console log that and see if we have any email here. What? An error. Workers. You can't find what? Because this is in infrastructure. Actually, it's not there anymore. It's actually in the executors dot use.js. Okay. Next is not a function. Okay. Let's just check that. So this is receiving a context. So I'm receiving a context here, passing the context from there, and then the context it's here. Next nest. Whew. Beautiful. So now I'm just getting this user. Let's just create another user and check if the user will be there. So let's just create another user here, and there we go. Now we have 2 of them. 2 users. We have 1 and now we have 2. Bruno, are you there? I believe that Bruno.
Yeah. It's because it's
Yeah.
your voice is delayed because I'm watching you in the Twitch.
Okay. So just yeah.
And because in the Discord it's very bad. I can hear you properly.
Okay. I don't know if I can do anything to improve that. I don't think so. Well, I hope my voice is good in the The live.
In the live is okay.
Yeah?
I'm hearing in there.
Ah, perfect. So any objection?
No, no,
Hmm?
go for it.
Actually, about objections, I've just discovered that, and I want to show you guys that because it's beautiful. Let me send to you. It's that. Let's just send it. So there we go. Everybody now have that. I just discovered that I'm using that so much. It's so funny because you just can create something. We need more GraphQL in the world. Okay, and then you just do objection, and then it's gonna be confident, and then you can just do preview. There we go, and then you can just this is gonna be objection. Objection. Beautiful. If anyone wants to use that, I'm gonna be pretty fine with that. I love it. So I do have the emails. So all the emails that I want to send. And the next thing that I want to do, so this one it's already over. So I need to actually loop through all the I need to loop through all these emails. So let's just do that. Emails in queue.map, and then I'm just going to get email in queue. I always have problems typing email in queue. Is something that's really difficult for me. So I need to fetch for the user. So I can get user by ID. I just need to create this function. I don't have it right now. And of course, if I want to do that, I need to do the context. No, I need to pass the context and then email in queue.user ID. Oh, user ID. And then I will have the user. Okay. And then I will just do the await send email to new user. Again? But this is gonna be in the infrastructure, isn't it? A lot of functions with the same name. Most of the problem, it's always about how to name things. I'm not going to use await because I'm just sending emails. I don't need to wait for anything. I just need to send the emails. Well, if I'm going to send the email, of course, I need to pass the context, the user, and send email to user. Yeah, that's it. Because I have the user. Actually, I need the ID because I need to send email to new user. No, we don't need that. So I'm just going to return no. Okay, but this shouldn't be like that. So one of them we need to change the name of one of these functions. We should never have two functions with the same name. So how are we gonna use that? Okay, so this is gonna be send email to new users because we're gonna do that for more than one user. Okay, so I need to change that. So send email to new users, send email to new users, beautiful. And I need to change it in here, in that, and that, nice. Okay, so I need to create both of them. Get user by ID and then send email to the user. That's the function that's going to send it. Well, I need to delete the email from the queue as well, and this one would do that. So I actually need to await, and if I do have these, I will yeah, let's just do that to new user. Okay, let's just grab that, save it. Let's just do that, and again, let's just do that, do that, do that. Nice. Okay, and then I need the get user by ID. This one it's easier. Get user by ID.js, and then let's just copy these, then export const get user by ID, and this needs to receive these and the user ID, and const SQL ctx database dot next, and then the table I want to do, that's users as u, and when I want to get the user, actually I can get the read user, isn't it? Read users. Ooh. I can actually get these as well. Beautiful. There we go. So not user migration, and where I should actually use u.id. It's equal to the user ID that I'm getting from there. User ID, there we go. Okay, so I believe it's that. Just going to do that, do that, do that. Why? Make the code a little bit better. Okay, and then the return that we do always, actually can just grab all that thing, and then I could just use that, and then just get that, just add this here, and okay, so this get a lot of users, get used by this, I need the 0, so it's exactly that I want to. Nice. So get user by ID I do have. Nice. So now the last error is gonna be this one, send email to user. Okay. But actually, if we want to send a mail to user, I need to create an account on SendGrid. I need to get the token, create the user that's going to send, and then we need to create environment variables. There's a lot of steps we need to do. We actually have 20 more minutes. So instead of going, because I believe that it's going to take like 1 hour more to do all this process by creating the account in SendGrid and installing the library. There's a lot of steps that we need to do. So I'm going to stop the live right now, and I will continue from where we are. So let's just console log the user actually, and let's just check. There we go. Oh, okay. So await, and then this is going to be async. There we go. It's getting all the users with emails and everything that we need in order to send an email to a user. But again, it's going to be a lot more steps, and I don't want to do that right now because it's going to be over than the 20 minutes that we have. So instead of that, well, Guilherme is here, but it's actually almost in the end. Welcome to the God Stack, Guilherme. Thank you very much for being here. And actually, we have new followers. Yeah, we do. We have Silent Sneeze, Tekunin, Jobly, Cold Lax, and Faxal, Logan, Templar. A lot of people actually subscribed today. I didn't hear the sound. I don't know why. I will check for it. I'm sorry about that. But, well, everybody, just welcome to the God Stack. It's pretty amazing to have you all here. Again, I will finish that in the next live. So I believe I'm gonna see you in there. Let me just check for the people that are here, and I'm going to get. I'm just going to get this. Okay. So again, guys, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for all this live. Bruno, thank you very much for being here for this live. And I
You're
see
welcome.
you in the God Stack. Bruno,
See you guys in the next live stream.
bye.
Bye bye.